Good day, my good people. Got a little bit of a different kind of show today. This show is going to be on the road. I'm actually looking for Mr. Keivis Ross to get on and join me real quick. Keivis is going to be joining me real quick, so I'm going to bring him on. We're actually taking a trip out to Augusta to take a look at some properties today. So I'm going to give him a quick second to jump on real quick. What's up, Mr. Ficklin? Thank you for hopping on. I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of promotion for today because I've been on the road for a little while, and but we got Mr. Keivis Ross on with us today. We're going to be talking about some wholesaling. We're going to be talking about doing a little bit of property management, some things like that. What's up, Doc? So we're going to be talking about a few things today. We're actually taking this road trip out to Augusta, where Keivis is actually cutting his teeth and doing some wholesaling in Augusta, Georgia. He's also doing some stuff in other areas of Georgia as well. So we're just going to talk about how that's working out, and we're going to talk about the business of wholesaling. So let me see if I can go ahead and get him to jump on with me real quick. But for those of you that are tuning in, I want to hear some of your feedback and some of your input about wholesaling, what your opinions are, what your thoughts are. Keep in mind I'm driving too, so I'll be doing a little bit of maneuvering while I'm checking some other things on my other line here. Actually, I got to get my what's happening, brother Larry? How you doing, sir? Thank you for tuning in with me today. I am having to make some adjustments, so bear with me here just a little bit. Try and get Mr. Keivis Ross to come on in with us. I want to hear from you guys what your thoughts are about the business of wholesaling. And we did go ahead and solidify a date and a location, and I'll talk a little bit about that for the December 17th event, where we're going to be having different people from different areas of the business of real estate joining in to have a conversation about how we can coexist in the business of wholesaling or in the business of real estate. We're going to talk about some of our roles, how we do business together, anywhere from closing attorneys, real estate agents. Actually, let me close that. Real estate agents, real estate brokers, mortgage people, credit repair people. All right, we got Keivis. Come on in, Keivis. Let me see. Let's see if I can get you to. Let me see if I can invite you in. Uh-oh. I lost you, Keivis. I don't know if you... Okay, there you go. All right, it's supposed to be able to let me invite you in. Let's see if I can get this worked out. I'll have to probably pull over. Yeah, so we're getting started a little early, just in case we ran into some... no, that's a bike friends to watch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull over so I can make sure I get this right. Mr. Florio, how you doing, sir? What's happening, family? Thank you for joining me. Let's see. take the option off? I don't see the option to bring you on. Let me just check here. Alright, that don't look like it's working out like I thought it would. I think somebody did tell me about that, but we're gonna make it work. We are heading to Augusta, so we're about 20 minutes out. So we'll just make sure I get this in here. I'm still working on getting my guests to join in with me. It appears that we're having a different situation. Facebook used to allow you to have people to join in with you, but apparently that has changed. So let me see how I'm gonna make this work. Because it doesn't give me the option to have him become a part of the live that I'm on. So I don't know what happened to that option. Let me see. Let me try it again. Nope. Choose your live. No, I don't see the option. All right, we still gonna work it out though. We'll actually, we'll be together in probably the next about 20 minutes anyway. But I want to have a conversation. You know, while we're still working on how we're gonna get him on, I want to have a conversation about the business of wholesaling. We had Mr. Kendall Ficklin on last week, and he dropped some golden nuggets on us. We had Mr. Craig Holston a little while, actually a couple weeks ago. We were talking about multifamily and things like that. So I still want to carry on the conversation about wholesaling and the business of wholesaling and what it means to the real estate industry as a whole. Now, back in the day when I got started, I mean, there was a form of wholesaling. Basically, we just called it contract assignment or assignment contract, which in essence is still what we do in wholesaling. We pretty much assign the contract. But the business of wholesaling specifically is buying low and selling high. That's wholesaling of anything in a nutshell. Buying low and selling high. You have wholesaling in the retail arena, where you're talking about buying clothes, where people buy clothes from the manufacturer at a wholesale price and they sell them for a retail price. And to the best of my knowledge, there is no regulation on the markups in that. People look for a certain wholesale price and they negotiate their wholesale price, and they put them on the market for a retail price. And then there's what's called a suggested retail price. That suggested retail price is simply what the industry, in a sense, as a whole, suggests what the retail price of an item should be, based on whatever different parameters. We'll talk about sheets for a certain thread count. A suggested retail price for 1,000 thread count sheet set might be $30 or $40 or $50 or something like that. And that's just the suggested retail price. Now, some retailers might decide that they want to sell those sheets for $20, and they might want to sell them for $40, depending on the branding or depending on the marketing that they put behind it. So depending on whatever investment they put in to get the widespread knowledge of what they have to offer is what they look to get a return on. So as it relates to wholesaling, specifically in real estate, we look at buying or acquiring properties at a wholesale price. And that wholesale price can be deemed from a few different things. It can be deemed from what the values of the neighborhood are, what properties are going for, what you negotiate. What price can you negotiate based on your numbers, and based on the numbers including the repairs, based on the numbers including the after repair value, numbers including what time is going to take to turn the property around once it gets fixed up. So it's a few different factors that are based in deciding what to offer for a property. And in that deciding, you decide how much money you need to make and how much money you want to position the person that's going to buy from you, how much you're going to put them in position to make. And most times that's determined by the person that buys it from you. But you often want to put a window in there so they can have enough of a window to be able to get the price that they want. So that's why you find in the business of wholesaling, there is a suggested retail price based on a formula that we use. Now, that could be the same in the retail arena as it relates to selling clothes or selling retail items at Walmart or whatever stores you have, what have you. So the suggested retail or suggested wholesale price is based on a formula that's used. Now, that formula varies from different areas of the country. Most of the time it's 65% of the after repair value. Some areas is 70% of the after repair value. And that's what the suggested wholesale or a suggested offer should be. And based on that, that will determine what's the maximum allowable offer, what we call the MAO. And in some cases, some people will add in their fee to that MAO formula to see if they're going to be able to make an offer that will net them the amount of money that they need to net upon wholesaling this property. Right? So once that part is done and they have actually gotten the property under contract, they put the property on the market for a wholesale price. And that wholesale price can sometimes be based on a number of other things as well. So when they go and sell that property to whomever, whether they have a regular buyer's list, whether there's new buyers in the market for that particular type of property, whatever the situation is as it relates to that specific property, is going to help determine the amount that the person that's wholesaling is going to be able to make. And whatever that amount is, there is no I guess specific amount that they have to sell it for that would make it, I guess, right or wrong in many cases. Just the amount that they want to, whatever window they want to create for the seller to have a win, for them as the wholesaler to have a win, and for the investor buyer to have a win, to make it a win-win-win scenario. And while there is no current regulations on that, some people believe that, or some people have suggested, I'll say, that wholesalers shouldn't make a certain amount of money. And to some degree, depending on the amount of work that you put in as a real wholesaler, I don't think there's a limited amount of money you should make as a real wholesaler. Because as a real wholesaler, there's work. You put in work behind getting a deal done. You put in work to locate the property, whether it's driving for dollars, whether it's sending mailers, whatever the case may be. You're investing time and, in many cases, money to obtain that lead. And then once you obtain that lead, you have to put the work in to turn it into a deal, right? So you have to go out and see the property. In many cases, we're talking about a real wholesaler. You have to go out and see the property. You have to assess the damage to see what the property is going to cost to be repaired. Based on that is what you're going to be able to use to determine the maximum amount that you can offer as a wholesaler. Right, so you've put that work in, then not only that, you've actually established a relationship or built some type of rapport with the seller, and the seller then accepts your offer. So you've actually worked all the way up to the point to be able to get that property under contract. Then what you have to also do is you have to turn around and do some more work to get that property sold. Now, that's a big difference in what a real estate agent does in some cases. Now, some real estate agents, they do hustle as much as wholesalers to get a property listed, to get a property listing. But in many cases, once that property hits the multiple listing service for the real estate agent or broker, most of the work, or a lot of the work from that point, is done by other agents, because other agents are going to show that property to their potential buyers, right? So in many cases, the wholesaler has to look for their own buyers, unless there's another wholesaler that comes along and decides that they want to JV with them and bring a buyer in to get the deal closed. But for the most part, many wholesalers are hustling on the front end and they're hustling on the back end, hustling in terms of putting in work. So it's hard to cap the amount of money that they should be able to make if they're working both the front and the back end, because there's no specific commission that's guaranteed to them once they get that property under contract. So what they then have to do, if they're hustling on the back end to get the property sold, they have to get, in some cases, depending on the situation, they have to get the person that's going to buy the property inside the house, whether it's going out to see it with the person, the potential buyers, depending on how many buyers there are. There might be a few potential buyers, and sometimes now wholesalers are setting up a one-day viewing where they have their own open house. Wholesalers are having open houses now, where they have a group of people that are interested in buying the property come out to take a look at the property. Now, that's an ideal situation in some cases, because it's only one time that the wholesaler has to go and show the house, right? Now, in other cases, the wholesalers typically would have to show the house over and over and over again, and that means they have to have time to go out and show this different prospective buyers the house that they have under contract. And now, this is the old school way. This is how we came up. When I came up doing it, that's how we had to do, because we didn't want people going in and out of the house that we didn't know. It was hard to trust people. Some people might go in and tear up the people's house. So it's different things that you had to look out for. But nowadays, we got a little more savvy. We give people a lockbox code, and we know who has a lockbox code. We put in, some of us are putting in additional systems to know who's going in and out. For example, a certain type of lock that goes on the door, where the code changes, randomly and things like that. So we got a little more sophisticated. So it's not as much work, but it's still work. It's still work for the wholesaler to earn their fee to be able to get the property sold. So in a scenario like that, when they're hustling on the front end to acquire the property, to get it under contract, and then they're hustling on the back end to get the property sold, and they're putting in 85% of the work or more in most cases, then their fee, I believe, is justified. Now we have a new set of wholesalers. I'll call them a new set of wholesalers, or a different kind of wholesaler, where a lot of times they have gotten creative, is what I'll call it. A new set of wholesalers have gotten creative, where they will not even go and see a property, but they won't get the property under contract. They won't go see it. They won't even run the numbers on the property before they even decide that they're going to blast this property out to their list, or list that they've gotten somehow or way another. And they send this property out to their list that they haven't even asked for permission from the actual person who holds the contract. They haven't even gotten their permission, so they send this property out to a list in hopes that, and they've increased the price by $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in some cases. So they've increased the price in the hopes that somebody will then contact them about buying this particular property that they don't have a contract on, B, they've probably haven't even seen the property in most cases, and C, they have no equitable interest in this property at all. They haven't even contacted the person who has the property under contract to ask them if it's okay for them to market it. That's the new wholesaler, the new, we'll call them the Generation Y wholesaler. Like, why the hell are you doing that? The Generation Y wholesaler does stuff like that, and sometimes it sticks. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they'll get I'll say an uneducated buyer that contacts them to buy that particular property and puts it under contract with them, and then that wholesaler then has to contact the person who has the contract. And this happens over and over and over again, where then you have a scenario, what we call a daisy chain, where several people have done the same thing for the same property. And you have 4 or 5 different email blasts or different text messages or whatever form of communication they're using, going out to the same people in many cases with 5 different prices on the property. These are the new wholesalers. And these are the types of things that are causing our business to be looked at as, I'll say, a joke, pretty much. It's causing our business to not be taken seriously. It's caused issues in some states where they've regulated or they put in they were basically outlawed wholesaling, because you have people who do not respect the game, who do not respect the business. Now, that happens in all types of businesses. That happens in every different industry where people don't respect the game and they don't respect the business. But as it relates to real estate, we got to look at how that affects so many different things. I mean, music people in the music industry went through the issue of piracy, and they had people copying their music and downloading it and not paying for it and things like that. So it's dirt in every game. But as it relates to real estate, which is one of the top, if not the top way to become a multimillionaire, we got to look at how deep this industry runs. We got to look at how deep, how it affects almost every arena of what we do. Look at the crash of 2008. The primary reason, one of the primary reason, if not the primary reason why we had a crash, was because of the issues that were happening in real estate, where people were doing all sorts of crazy illegal things, and as a result of that, caused a major housing crisis. It started with subprime lending and things like that, but that subprime lending led to so many people taking advantage of that, of uneducated people, of course, and those uneducated people were then taken advantage of even more by unscrupulous investors, where they were inflating the prices and getting somebody to buy it and pull the equity out and letting the property go into foreclosure and a whole bunch of craziness like that. And that led to a major crisis in the real estate investing world, or real estate world, period, where people who were not educated about the loans that they were taking out on their house, didn't know that after a couple years, well, they knew, but they didn't know what to do about it, that after a couple years from paying $500 a month for a $300,000 house, that payment was going to go up to $1,800 a month or more because of balloon interest and things like that. So what I've said for the longest time as it relates to real estate, especially in today's market, there's plenty of room for people to make money in doing what we do, where you don't have to be I'm trying to think of a good word to use, where you don't have to be dirty about doing it. We'll say that. I'll use a politically correct word like dirty. You don't have to be dirty in doing what you do, because there's plenty of money to be made in this business. And the way that we have evolved in doing what we do, we're JVing and co-wholesaling and things like that. There's plenty of opportunity to go around, where you don't have to do crazy things. You know, I think I look at situations like that where people do stuff like that. They don't have enough confidence in the longevity of what they're doing, so they have to try to get as much as they can on one or two deals, and then they're back at work, which is basically what's going to be the result of much of what's happening in today's market and what we're doing. When the market shifts, as it soon will, I don't think it's going to crash, I'll say shift, it'll make an adjustment, but when it does, it's going to be a situation where those people who have not taken the time to educate themselves on how to do this business properly, and those folks who have just taken advantage of a few loopholes and made a little bit of money for the short run, those are going to be the people who are back in the, I won't say soup lines, but those are going to be the people who are back in the employment lines or unemployment lines. They're going to be looking for jobs again because there is no longevity in doing the business that we're in the wrong way. There's no longevity in it. You know, just like the folks who did what they did back in the day with doing, you know, the inflation of the prices and things like that, and doing things the wrong way. Many of those people are doing time. You know what I mean? They're doing time. And the sad thing about it is, when you know that you're doing something wrong and you know that it could potentially catch up with you, and all you stand to gain is a few dollars, that's what some people call hustling backwards. You have to look at the benefits. The benefits have to outweigh the wrong that you're doing. You know, if you're hustling and you're trying to make $10,000 on one deal, and something happens to that deal, or something happens in a situation where now it's regulated and now it's against the law and all these other things, the way things have changed in the business as they did before, if you're doing stuff like that, and you know it's going to cost you $10,000 to get an attorney, and all you stand to make on doing a deal wrong is $10,000, that's hustling backwards. Like, that, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Like, why in the world would you attempt to do something one time wrong and stand and take a chance on getting yourself caught up instead of trying to learn how to do it the right way? Keivis, I don't know where you got me at, man. But I think I'm right over here where you're supposed to be. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that's the chance that people take. You know, sometimes they hustle backwards and they take what you know, some of my folks in the hood would call penitentiary chances. And those penitentiary chances aren't even worth what they would ultimately cost you in the long run. You know, so I say to those types of situations, if it's not worth, and you know, I'm just gonna keep it 100. Don't do anything that's gonna be stupid in the first place, because you never know what it's gonna cost you in the long run. If you're doing it right, or something like right will continue to come. You know, in this business, there's something to be said about having a good name, and a good name can go a lot longer than just a few extra dollars. You know, if you have a good name, your name will carry you. Your name and your integrity and your character will take you places where money won't take you. And, you know, I say to look at doing business the right way the first time, so you can have some longevity in doing what we do, and not have to play catch up or be in a situation where, you know, you've created a bad name for yourself, and you've created a situation where now people knowing you're doing things the wrong way, and nobody wants to do business with you. So was that one deal that you did that you knew you were doing the wrong way, was that one deal worth your reputation? You know, and I say that about people who don't have a lot of experience in this because they don't know the great potential that real estate can gain you. They don't know the potential that doing this business the right way can take you a long way. Stepping out, I'm actually here with my man Keivis, who's actually my guest for today. I finally made it to the place that we're over here in Augusta. We're taking a look at how you doing, sir? I'm Glenn. How you doing? Joe, nice to meet you. All right, we're taking a look at it looks like a duplex over here on I think this is Chestnut Street. Let's see if I can flip this around. I'm gonna follow Keivis out in the field. Mr. Keivis, the folks have been looking for you today. Yeah. What's happening? Selling, man, and having a good name.
Your word is your bond.
Definitely. So, Keivis, you've had some successes in this business, man.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Yeah. Tell the folks a little bit about your start and what's been the thing that's had you having consistent success in doing this.
Just really been doing good business, man. So most of my business that I do today is really based off of referrals. I'd say roughly 30% of the deals I do on a month-to-month basis is solely referrals. Augusta, Atlanta, and also in St. Louis too. I have a couple people on the ground in St. Louis too.
Really. That's huge, man. To be able to now you did a couple deals starting out in Atlanta. Now we over here looking at a deal in Augusta. And I I'm gonna tell the folks because you put it out there. I'm gonna tell the folks how you jumped on the plane and went to Vegas for the first time.
Wow.
So now doing this business and doing it the right way has afforded you opportunities that you didn't even think of before, right? So how are you branching out the metro Atlanta, getting in other areas?
Just giving it a shot, man. Taking the same steps that I use in Atlanta to get deals and multiplying it in different areas and stuff too as well.
Got it. So you just reach out to other people in the different areas and connect with them about doing some deals.
Yes, I really vetted out the real movers and shakers in other areas too as well. So once I do that, I can go on and get the business up and running, making cold calling, start putting banner signs out in different areas, getting foots on the ground, driving for dollars for you, paying people to drive for dollars for you, and everything.
Cool. So you got people driving for dollars for you. So we'll use a place like St. Louis. So you have people driving for dollars for you over there.
I have 2 people driving for dollars in St. Louis that I have on the app deal machine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you connect with them to get them?
So when I was in St. Louis a couple weeks ago, one of them was actually my Uber driver.
Really? Okay.
So I told him what I do and stuff like that. Once I told him what I do, he was like, man, I need to learn. So the very next day he came over to my Airbnb. I showed him what I do, showed him how to do it. We actually got in his car, rode around, looked at houses, all that.
Okay.
And he just went on from there.
That's what's up. What's up. So you just happened to be in St. Louis, or you were?
Nah. So I went there last month on the last LIA meeting. They land reserve something association, and they sell their properties.
Wow.
So I just attended that meeting just to know what you have to do, what the process is, and things of that nature. I also have a high school friend of mine that stays in St. Louis. He got like at least 15 units, and he's trying to acquire 24 units.
Wow. That's huge. So now you got boots on the ground in St. Louis. You got an Uber driver that's driving for dollars for you.
Yes.
Got them on deal machine, so you keeping up with the deals. how is it that, like, so for example, if you get a property under contract
Uh-huh.
or if you get a lead, does he go out and take a look at the property for you? Or?
Yes, we haven't got there yet. Soon we do though. He already know what to do, how to take the pictures, where to take the pictures, and everything.
Okay, you took him through all of that, based on.
Mhm.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And tell the folks, how long you been doing this, man?
I started out my business in March 2017.
Okay, so just a couple years, and you already branching into other states.
Yes.
What made you that ambitious to go and do something like that?
Well, I have a good friend in St. Louis, so
Okay.
that's made me even more comfortable going out there.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Okay. So I mean, there are people that are live in Atlanta that know people in other places that haven't taken that chance yet. What would you say to them about taking chances on looking at other opportunities?
Take the chance. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Absolutely. Something in Columbus and Augusta.
Well, I was really deciding on the three, either Macon, back to Columbus, or Augusta. So as I was looking in the different cities, I look at what's going on in the city.
Got it.
How many colleges in the city?
Right.
What's the big next thing coming to the city? So in Augusta right now, they have cybersecurity here. They building it. They should be done with a brand new nuclear plant.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So they have medical schools here and everything. So people come across the world. Also, the masters once a year too.
Yes.
That's like the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah.
Here, every year. So I looked at all them different variables, and I just stuck with Augusta.
Okay. Cool. And it's been working out for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it only take for to have a success. It, like I was saying, you have to use, like you said, the reward have to outweigh the risk.
Yes.
So what's the worst that could happen? Even if you close one deal,
exactly.
You know what I mean. You're still successful because had you not tried it, you wouldn't have got anything. Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean. I say, what's that saying by They say Jordan said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Exactly. You do. If you don't shoot, how you know you're going to make it?
Exactly. I got to switch arms, man. There's arm, bro.
I see it, man. Gosh.
But that's good stuff, man. So what would you tell, the up-and-coming wholesaler about what they need to do first, when getting started and doing this business of wholesaling?
The first thing I will say to do, man, is network. Always network. Your network is your next net worth.
Yeah.
Please network. Find a like-minded individual like Glenn himself.
Definitely.
I've had plenty of conversation late night at Glenn and early morning. Just talking about everything. Any inspirations you give me, I greatly appreciate it.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that.
Other than getting your network up, just start applying yourself. Start going driving for dollars. Start going to different meetings. Start talking to sellers. Just start talking to everybody, because you never know who might know someone.
Right.
Who might know something, or might know who got a house for sale.
Everything you said is about taking action.
Taking action.
You know what I mean? It's actually doing it and applying. Like some people, they sit and they watch YouTube and all these other things and Google, and they do all that all day long, and they don't apply the stuff that they're actually learning.
Yeah.
And then some people say it doesn't work. Oh, that wholesaling thing, that don't work. When they see so many people like yourself having success, because simply what you're doing is applying the information, applying what you learn.
But guess what, though, gang? They don't know all the time they got cussed out.
Oh, man, bruh.
They don't know. You think you got an offer, you send out a contract, the seller go ghost.
Right.
Hear from in 6 months, but next thing you know, they probably done sold the house out.
Yes.
They don't know them type of things.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
And those are the things that YouTube can't coach you through those things.
Exactly.
Because those things are gonna happen, and when they happen, there's no video that I've seen that you can go back to YouTube instantly and say, how do you get past getting cussed out? Or like, how can you Google don't get cussed out from a cold call?
Exactly. I haven't seen one yet.
Right. So it's stuff like that, man, that again, man, I don't know if we
I was just
okay. All right. I don't want.
Let's take them show around the house.
Okay. We're gonna take a walk around the property that we're here at Chapman Street. What street is it? Chestnut in Augusta. We're gonna take a look around the duplex that we're out here to take a look at, because he's on appointment. He just happened to be doing the show with me while we're out here, and I don't want to hold him up from taking care of business. So we're gonna take a quick walk around, and we'll just have a conversation as we walking
Okay.
around.
Let's go.
And I want y'all, if anybody got questions. Is that Anthony Boston? Anthony Jr.? Big Ant. So we're gonna be taking a look at some more properties here in Augusta. This is an actual duplex that we are taking a walk around. Keivis is actually making some moves. He's making some major moves. He's taking opportunities and taking chances outside of our metro Atlanta area, and he's creating opportunities for other folks as well, such as myself. Reason I'm out here today is to take a look at some opportunities in other areas of Georgia, because I'm looking to, of course, build my portfolio and looking for the best return on investment for rental properties, Airbnb and different things like that. So I decided I would come and take a look at some of the properties that he has under contract or acquiring here in Augusta. So that's why we came out and took the trip today, and I decided that we would go ahead and shoot the show while we're out this way. Keivis, what can you tell us about this property that we're taking a look at now?
How I get the property?
Yeah. How'd you come across this?
Cold call.
Okay.
I cold called the seller. The seller, the actual son owned the property.
Okay.
So we met up, scheduled out an appointment. I even gave him an offer on the phone on this one.
Okay.
Kind of what was okay, kind of accepted the offer. So I just
Really?
came. Yeah.
Okay.
So I came and look at the property, make sure that everything's add up to the offer I gave him, and let's see if it work out.
Okay. Cool. All right. So can we take a look inside real quick?
Yeah, ain't nobody in there, I don't know nobody out here.
So you'll do. All right. Let's see. Do we have Yeah, this is let's see, do we got some light over here? Where's the flashlight on this thing? There we go. See if we can get some kind of light in here. Okay.
So you can see it's 7 o'clock all the way throughout.
Okay.
Tomorrow, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be a 2-1. It was really actually the first day.
So the units are 1-1s, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the units all on one.
Oh, okay.
Pretty straightforward for the most part.
Okay. All right, and let's see, that would be your bathroom right there. I guess this would be just the kitchen area?
Yeah, most likely kitchen area.
Okay.
Well, this might be the kitchen area. Yeah. This is the corner, so it's probably kitchen area. Kitchen that has that door, and that probably be a room right there.
Oh, okay. So this would be your bedroom. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of,
Strange.
yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say the closet right here.
Okay, and then your bathroom right there.
Bathroom right here. So that's the first.
Okay.
Both of the sides pretty much just like that. I think this is your normal common living area.
Okay. So for something like this, what's the rental rate for something like this in this area?
I'm pretty not for sure about this area right here for the most part. I have another house that I was telling you about yesterday. It's probably not too far from here.
Okay.
So I'd say roughly 500-600 on both sides.
Got it. Okay.
500-600.
And something like this would go for what? What would you, for as the purchase price?
Purchase price, probably around about 10 grand for this.
Really? That's not bad. And what would you say the repairs are on something like this to get it in livable condition?
Mainly livable. This, as you can see, is center block, so that's a good. Make sure there ain't no structural issues. Just to redo it and lay, probably about 8 to 10 grand on each side.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you figure all in, we'll say roughly 20 grand, 25 grand.
Probably around like 25 to 30.
Yeah.
All in.
And then
$500 on each side.
you get $1,000 a month. Your ROI is through the roof because that pays for itself in a year and a half. And it's all cash flow from there. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay. You said your other property is not too far from here?
Let me put it in the address. See how far it is.
Okay. All right, yeah, folks, we taking y'all on the road with us today. This is real life real estate investing, mobile style. Real life real estate investing on the road. I guess it'll be just to let y'all know we don't, I do interviews. I don't just sit down and do interviews all the time, but we actually get out and take a look at some things. This is going to be we'll be doing more of this going forward. So y'all stay tuned. Don't forget to share this. Share this in your news feeds. Share this in your groups.
We're 4 minutes away.
We're 4 minutes away?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a trip around the corner, it looks like, and take a look at some other properties in the area. It's a nice, quiet area out here in Augusta. And like I said, this is something that is low investment. The property is cinder block, low maintenance, low investment and good return, pretty much. Return on this, like I said, pays for itself in about a year and a half. You're all in 30 grand, $1,000 a month with rent of $500 on each side. Not a bad situation to be in. I'm taking a look. It looks like I don't know if that's the city inspector pulling up down the street. But then there's a full lot right next to the property, so we'll find out about that as well. Does this lot come with this property?
It's not.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad situation. Build another duplex right next to it. So, again, I want to tell you guys about the event that's happening December 17th. I'll have the details. I'll put the details in the comments shortly. It's December 17th. Nobody owns that?
Someone else owns it.
Oh, someone else. Oh, okay.
So somebody else owns that lot too as well.
Got it. So yeah, December 17th, we're bringing all areas of real estate together: attorneys, agents, brokers, contractors, everybody that stands to make money in the business of real estate. Mr. Ramon Tooks is putting together an event that we're all going to be coming together just to talk about how we all play a part in making this world of real estate, the world of real estate go round, and how everybody's role is significant in the business of real estate, and how we can all work together. And in the words of my man John Stafford, the grind guy, everybody can eat. Everybody eat. And it's just a matter of looking at ways that we can peacefully coexist in this business of real estate investing. One thing is we have to make sure the people that are getting involved get educated. And that's one of the major things that I think causes issues in any industry, especially in the business of real estate. You know, I'm waiting to see if Keivis is ready to go. But as I was saying, that people don't get educated as well as they should, and they come in and they make a few dollars and make a little bit of noise, and sometimes it disrupts the entire process of what we do. So we're having to actually take a pause for the cause of the business that we're in to get people on the same page. While I understand that's necessary, in many cases, it's unfortunate because what we say is a few bad apples can spoil the bunch. And the business of real estate is so strong, it's not too many bad apples that can spoil the whole bunch, but we have to have some integrity about doing what we do. We have to have some accountability in some cases. There's accountability that's necessary in doing what we do, just to be sure that people aren't taking us back to the old days of the Wild Wild West, where, you know, people were taking advantage of the opportunities that were out there. Yeah. Okay, I'll follow you. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing that has to happen in doing what we do is education and accountability. Pardon my hand. I'm just putting it back on the. Yeah, there has to be some accountability. There has to be some checks and balances in place, because it's unfortunate that it's already known that when a certain group of people get a hold of some information, I'm just saying what it is. When a certain group of people get a hold of some information on how to do certain things and make a lot of money in doing it, some people take advantage and they run and do things the wrong way, and then everybody else has to suffer. But what it does, in my opinion, it separates the real from the fake. You know, it separates, just like when we went through what people are calling the crash of 2008. When we went through that, yeah, a lot of us that were involved in the business then, we suffered on some levels. We knew what we knew, and we know what we knew. We knew what we know. One way or the other. We know what we know, and in knowing what we know, that's afforded us the opportunity to get back to doing business and knowing what to watch out for. It afforded us the opportunity to learn and take the information and take what we learned from then to be able to apply it and do much better business this time around. And it's going to be that group of people that are not doing good business that will have to go through that learning phase, and maybe the next time around, if they survive, they'll apply it the next time. But see, what's misunderstood is that if you take advantage of the opportunity to learn and educate yourself now, you won't suffer as much as those of us did, when we went through what we went through. And I'll say for myself, at that time, I wasn't as educated as I should have been. I didn't take as much risk then. I took some risk, but I was. It's not because I was risk averse. It was just that I sold everything that I owned instead of holding on to them. I sold everything that I owned, fortunately, and was able to keep it moving. So I didn't lose anything. I lost opportunities because I didn't keep any properties. I sold everything. So that was a lesson that I learned from then. So now, as a result of that lesson, everything that I buy now, I'm holding on to. Instead of just flipping and flipping and flipping like I was before. Even, recently, I was just buying and fixing and flipping. But now I'm changing that to holding on to properties because, I want to have the assets, because the assets in the long run can continuously pay me. Money, if you just have it and spend it, it doesn't continuously pay you, which is what my case was. So we're over here at property number 2, and I'm going to jump out real quick, take a quick walk through. All right, so we're just about wrapping up. What are we looking at here?
So right here, I have this another property I have on the contract that I'm probably consider buying.
Okay.
I already had a little cleanup crew to come out and clean it out and stuff like that too as well. So
Okay.
this might be my first one I'm buying, honestly.
Really?
Really.
I don't know, man. This look pretty good. You might have to sell this one.
Oh, okay. Let me know.
Yeah,
Let me know.
this actually looks like a pretty decent rental though.
Check out the street though. Check out how quiet the street is.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Decent street. Yeah, is that a oh no, I thought that was a church down there. Yeah. Yeah, pretty decent. Look like some longevity here. So we're gonna take a look at. We're gonna take a walk through this one, and just see what we got going on in here.
As you can see, it's four-sided brick. No.
Yeah, that's the sign of the warning. Let people know that we're coming in.
No.
In my case, mostly for their safety. Okay. How big is this? About 1,200, 1,300? Okay. Okay. Living area, dining area, hardwood floors. Was this another one that came from cold calling?
Yep. Okay. Seller Wayland, New York.
Really?
Really.
Wow. Okay.
I actually got this lead from Pop Screen. There's too many other listeners know what Pop Screen is.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
a data, somewhat like a data, like list source. You can pull data.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is it what it gives you the names and information on the folks?
Yes, it'll give you everything. When the last time it sold, all that information. Then
Really?
you can put in an export sheet. Then I use back skip tracing to pull the numbers, and I use Mojo Dial to make the call.
Really? Okay. Man, I hope y'all heard that. He gave y'all $1 million worth of game right there. $1 million worth of game. So I imagine this has to be free and clear. I mean, how long has it been sitting? Do you know?
About 5 years now.
Really? Okay.
5 years,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you said the owner's in New York. So when's the last time they seen it?
about 5 years
5 years ago.
About
Yeah,
5 years ago.
yeah. So definitely, it's definitely a free and clear situation. And they probably did they know it was in the condition that it's in, or did you have to
No,
tell them?
once I cleaned up the yard and stuff, I actually took pictures and showed them I cleaned it up and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because the city was getting on them about how messy it was and stuff.
So you invested your own money in cleaning it up. Okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because then that gives you a bit more of a in with them. Did you have it under contract already?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
of course. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So, I got to ask, but I'm not gonna ask in front of all these people because they might be trying to get in. But I'm gonna ask you about the numbers on them when we get done because I think I might want this one.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's cool, man, and it's already got is that central air in there?
I'm not sure. It looked like it.
It looks like it, yeah.
Well, now I can walk into that. At first I can.
Oh, okay.
I think it is probably so.
See, I'm trying to see why the ceilings are ripped out. There's nothing.
Coffee was up there.
That's what I'm looking at the electrical. There's no. I mean, it looks like they took part of the vein over here for the electrical. Yeah, they was after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because it looks like it's cut all off over here. Yeah. Yep. Probably $15 worth of what's that they got up there?
Guess that's the cabinets and more insulation.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap, folks. Any parting words you want to share with the folks before you go?
Oh man, just apply yourself, man. You can do this business anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Not only this country, but anywhere, man. So that's all I got to say. Man.
Any major lessons you've learned in what you've been doing so far?
Building relationships, man.
Yeah.
Relationships are key in this business.
Yeah.
Just have a good name out there, man, because it's this small. The real estate world is
Yes,
very small.
yes,
so
yes,
one
yes.
bad thing can ruin your whole reputation in this business.
Definitely. That's why I had to keep my word. I was like, man, I woke up, I'm like, man, am I going to Augusta today for real? I said, but I told him I was going, so make the trip.
I did not want to come either when I woke up, man. But, hey, somebody got to do it.
Right, no doubt. That's why, when I came out to Stone, I was at Stonecrest, man, like 9:30 this morning.
Really?
Yeah, I got out there at 9:30. But I was just doing some stuff, doing some work in the car while I was out there. And then I got on the phone and then realized you called me.
Yeah.
So when I called you back, you said you was already at Conyers. I was like, dang, okay, let me catch up there.
Yeah. You caught up. We was no more like 10, 15 minutes apart.
Yeah. But that's it, guys. I mean, same thing as I was saying. He basically, same thing you said is what I was saying when I was in the car. Having a good reputation, building relationships, and taking action, taking massive action, and being consistent. It's like, so I suffered a little bit this year because I wasn't consistent because of all the other issues I had going on. But, just knowing that is a major part. Consistency is a major part of doing what we do.
It is.
Staying in contact, staying in people's face so people can recognize who you are. Somebody says, what do you do if you find asbestos? Will that increase the reno budget? That depends. Somebody says, if you find asbestos, asbestos in the property, most times it's, either in the roof or on the siding and stuff like that, in the insulation.
Gotcha.
So, yes, it can increase the rental budget because for asbestos, you're supposed to have, I'm going to say it, you're supposed to have a, so it's supposed to be people that come out in masks and suits and all that stuff to get all that stuff cleaned up. But there's a way that people find to not have to go through all that, not have to pay that high price. So it's not as bad. But I'll be able to elaborate a little more offline, Miss Cassandra. If you want to inbox me, we can talk about that some more.
Okay.
But great business. Keep your name good. Don't forget to check out the event December 17th. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So December 17th, we coming together, wholesalers in the Metro Atlanta area, wholesalers, agents, brokers, attorneys, contractors, the people who bring the people water on the contract site, whoever's involved in doing real estate.
Real estate.
Definitely check that out, and I'll make
Please
sure.
attend.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I put that information. It's a free event, so there's no cost to come. But do you have the address or the location of where it is?
I don't know right off bat.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll make sure I put it in the comments so you guys can check that out. So thank y'all again for watching. This has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. Look forward to seeing y'all next week.
All right.